Welcome back, everyone, to Data Science for Everyone. Today, we're going to be looking at arrays with JavaScript. Let's get started. So, an array is like a list of variables that share a common name. Arrays are going to be useful for us because they can make it possible for us to work with a lot of variables, creating a new name for each without creating a new name for each variable. Now, this makes our code shorter, easier to read, and it's much more convenient. So first off, let's maybe go on with an example that may be a little bit difficult for us to kind of utilize. So we're going to first do a little bit of a code, okay? And with this, this is not going to be using um, a an array, but we'll see here that, for example, if we create up bar x2, a bunch of different variables here. So maybe we'll create like 5 variables. And we'll do something like a var x3 is equal to 35. And let's say var x4 is equal to 20. And var x5 is equal to, let's say, 35. So here we've created a bunch of different variables. All right, and we're going to create, again, over here in our window, we're going to create a couple, maybe some little Pac-Men. Okay, so the next one that we're going to do here is no stroke. And then down here, what do we want? How do we want this to actually be visualized? And let me give a little bit of space here so that we can see. So let's do end. And let's give our background, let's make it all black. And let's go on and get started with our code here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our Pac-Man. Let me see here. I think I actually have something here. We want our little Pac-Man to kind of move across the screen. Okay. So again, we'll have a bunch of different Pac-Men. I think we have 5 of them, and then they're each going to be slowly moving across the screen. So let's go on and get that set up. So how we get them to move across the screen? We've done this before. So we're going to add, so x1 plus equals 0.5. And again, here, this is basically the speed at which we want them to move across the screen. And I'm just going to do this a couple times. Now, again, notice that I was having to copy and paste code here, and this has a tendency for people to make mistakes, particularly if we're doing it a lot. So now let's go on and do something like arc here, x1, 20, 20, 0.5, and let's say 5, you know what, let's just do 6, why not? And then here we're going to do this again, and again we're going to do this 5 times. Oops. So we have here 2, 3, 4, 5. And so if we run this, oop, I am missing something. Let's see, what am I missing? Probably a fill color here. So let's do something like fill. Okay, and what else are we missing here? So, and again, part of this is just because I'm being a little bit silly. So this is exactly the problem. Okay, notice I was copying and pasting a lot here. Okay, well, I started making a little bit of mistakes. I need to be actually changing these up as we go along here. So let's do something like 40. Let's do 60. Let's do 80, and let's do 100. And we also want to maybe see what else we need to change up here as well. And we also need to make sure that we have actually all of the other pieces in here. So again, arc here, if we actually here, I can actually show you here. Notice p5.js is telling us arc is expecting 6 arguments. And again, I forgot to put in our sixth argument in here. So notice here you can see this 1 is working and he's slowly moving across the screen. So the next up is we need to go on and put 20 in here just a couple more times. You can see them slowly starting to creep across the screen in force. Okay, so notice this is nice and all, but again, with all of these variables, we're going to have a tough time. And let's say that we wanted to have like 1,000 of them. Okay, we want to just flood the whole screen with everything. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to take all of these, okay, and we want to kind of slowly convert them into an array. Well, and that kind of disappears on me, but so let's actually take a look and see what we can do. All right, so first off, we want to go on and take all of these. We're going to just condense them down into one, and we're going to create up here an array. So an array here uses these square brackets, okay? And then we want to be able to fill it, okay, with however many variables we want. So actually, let me undo this a little bit so you can see all of these. And I can do something like var x here. And let's actually go in and just fill it with all of these numbers that we have. 10, 10, 35, 20, and 35. Now we can delete these. And so now we have an array. And we can go through and we can delete all of this. Notice our code is getting significantly shorter already. I'm going to delete all of these. I'm going to leave that fill there because we want them to be yellow like Pac-Man. And then we're going to go on and do something like for var I is equal to 0. We want I is less than x dot length. Then we want I plus, I plus plus. And then we're going to go on and do something like x of I plus equal to 0.5. Okay, and so what is happening here is that we are indexing. Okay, we are indexing from this list here. Okay, so what's happening is that we are going from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this has a length of 5. Okay, but we start counting at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to loop over. We're going to start at 0, and we're going to loop over 5 times. Okay, and each round we're going to add 1. So this will loop over each of the individual variables, okay, or the items inside of this array. And then we will go through and we'll be able to increase them by whatever speed we want. So, and you know what? So let me give us a little bit more space here again. So, and so let's go on and actually view these. So we can do something like arc x of I, and then what we can do 20. Let's do 12, 12, 0.5, and 6. Okay, so notice now we get this little grouping of all of them. Notice they haven't, since we give them all 20, okay, they're not spaced out necessarily in how we wanted them to be before, okay? So we want to be able to do something with this variable. This is the y variable. So with that, we can do something like y, excuse me, var y, is equal to I multiplied by, let's say, 0.5, let's say. And then we'll do y here. I don't like that. Let's do something like multiplied by 2.5. Let's make it 12. There we go. So now we can kind of see them, and maybe we'll do something like also like plus 10. There we go. So notice here that they're definitely kind of moving in a flock now. They definitely have this nice looking kind of movement to them, but it's kind of boring, isn't it? We want to have this massive swarm of Pac-Men coming through. So how are we going to go about doing that? Well, we need to actually go through and we're going to change this array here. So we want to take this whole array, okay, and we're going to delete everything inside, and we're going to make thousands of Pac-Men. Okay, so we can do this in a couple different ways, but we're going to say something like for var I is equal to 0, I is less than, let's say, 3,000, I plus plus, oops, my butterfingers today. And then, I need to get rid of that. Oops, no, I don't. Oh, is it because it's 2? There we go. So what we want to do inside of this nice for loop is to do something like x of I, and then we'll do something like random negative 1,000 to 200. You know what? No, we need to 400, let's say. And this needs an equal sign here. And notice now we have a lot of them, okay? And again, we can maybe even add let's put 1,000 in there. Like this, and let's do something like 6. Okay, so again, we can kind of play with this as much as we want to have these massive flocks of Pac-Men, okay, kind of coming across the screen. And I suggest you guys kind of play with it yourselves. So if you guys like this, please comment, subscribe, and hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.